Very good. Recording has started.
It has started. Very good. So we watched a movie.
Surprise.
Yeah. So what did you think?
So, I saw probably bits of this movie before. Like I would have gone through it and tried to figure out what it was. I never watched the whole thing, but I certainly had seen parts of it.
Sure.
I remember them playing tennis, like that whole scene, and them walking down through the streets of New York City, him and his buddy. But I think it's a pretty good flavor of 70s New York. And I think that's what Woody Allen tries to do because he's 70s New York. That's who he is.
Yes.
And so it's so funny because the two different versions of what the movie's about are so different. In MB, it says a New York comedian, Alvy Singer, falls in love with a ditzy Annie Hall. And then the other one goes, Alvy Singer, divorced Jewish comedian, reflects on his relationship with ex-lover Annie Hall, an aspiring nightclub singer, which ended abruptly, just like his previous marriages. And I'm going, I don't know that ended abruptly. I mean, all relationships end abruptly because they go from a moment of you're in a relationship to not. There's an abruption.
Yeah.
Abruption? Is that a word, abruption?
It is now.
I think that's I'm going to look that up.
That's a great word. Okay, but anyway, so it was described as a rom-com.
Yes.
And I thought it was not romantic, and it wasn't particularly comedic. Like it was quirky Woody Allen comedic. Like I get it, but it was like I found the characters annoying. So with rom-coms, they're supposed to fall in love, and they're supposed to, you're rooting for them. And I didn't root for either one of them. I wanted them to both shut up after a while. So for neurotic Jewish guy, I really liked like George Costanza. I liked a lot better as a neurotic.
How different are they?
Oh, enough.
George Costanza is more aggressive.
Yeah,
louder and in your face, and wants that. Whereas he's more meek and I'm a nerd.
Yes, George Costanza thinks he's right all the time, and Woody Allen just is so full of indecision. And
Jennifer's trying to join this call. How did you know about this? I didn't send it to her.
I'll let her in.
Did you send it to her?
I don't know.
No, you.
I'm coming for a visit.
It's so funny because I was going to tell her what you and I talked about, that you wanted to be part of this. And then all of a sudden it said, Jennifer's trying to get in the call. I go, how did Jennifer know? I looked at her and go, did you invite her? She goes,
I sent her the link. I thought that might be fun because she knows.
Did you watch the movie?
No, I just wanted to pop in. I just wanted to pop in and say hello to my siblings. It's been so long.
But she's got some glitchy connection issues.
Sorry. I'll probably be back.
Oh, so she might drop in and out.
Bluetooth headphones or something.
Yeah, that would work better. But anyways, so yeah, I liked there's parts of the movie that I liked a lot. Like he used a lot of devices. He used the cartoons, and then he talked to the people, and he just did all kinds of stuff like that I thought was really interesting. It was cheeky when they had the Marshall McLuhan guy.
Yeah,
I thought that was really good. But it was like, I liked how they had the scene from The Godfather he talked about, and Diane Keaton had been in The Godfather.
Who's that behind you?
Who? Who's there? Is there someone there? Did someone walk by?
Is that Jennifer? Jesus. Look at you trying to play. You're trying to play with me. I can't be toyed with.
You were confused.
I can't be toyed. This is probably the last video I'll ever have of Tessa. Is the one with her behind me. She's going today to Debbie, and I won't see her anymore for the rest of her life.
Yes,
and don't toy with me.
Oh, we just thought.
What's your shirt say?
Hamilton is home.
So I saw a guy, and I said it to Corrine, if somebody was being interviewed because that guy died on a motorcycle on Barton Street, and they're interviewing some resident, and he has a shirt on that says, well, Hamilton doesn't like you either.
Yes, I almost bought that one, but I thought I'd buy Hamilton is home. Yeah. There was at the art crawl, it said Hamilton thinks you suck too.
But Corrine doesn't like Hamilton because she came here with her daughter, or no, her daughter came here for a wedding and went to that hotel right across from Jackson Square, and she goes like it was dirty and terrible people around and gangs, and like it was just so unsafe. She felt every step she took downtown at night was unsafe, which it would be. I certainly remember it as that, and I'm sure it's a lot worse than that.
That's where Dad was staying, so yeah, I wouldn't go there at night.
What do you mean where Dad was staying?
He was when we stayed at the Satellite Hospital.
It was the Royal Connaught.
So he was down there from November, December, January, and February.
Oh, before he came back up to the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know I thought he was at a hospital. I didn't know they sent him to a hotel hospital.
So it's called the Satellite. It's for all the people who are waiting for a placement, and the whole thing is full of people waiting to go somewhere else.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, they don't have any they don't have any proper treatments or anything. But like he didn't need that. But it wasn't nice. It was old and yucky, and compared to where he was at.
A lot of drug addicts and psychological mental health issues and stuff. It wasn't pretty.
Yeah, even parking there was a pain. So Mom going to visit him was just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But so we're not talking about the movie anymore.
No. Talk about Annie Hall.
You should have seen it.
I did not. I've been busy.
Yeah, she's been doing things.
My whole life has been busy. I don't watch a lot of movies.
Yeah. So so this was one of the movies that was I had high expectations. It had won Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Screenplay, Best Screenplay, and Best Director.
No boobs in the whole movie. None.
I know, I can't even remember that part, but
No.
it was like, so everything was best, and I think the one is 97% and 8 stars, and so I expected a lot, and it wasn't that good in my books, but it was fine, and it was iconic, and I'm glad I watched it and all that stuff. But yeah, I won't need to watch it again.
So that's called breaking the fourth wall, right? When he turns and talks to the camera. Now, why is that? I was going to look that up and find out why it's called the fourth wall. What's the first, second, and third walls?
Backstage and left and right. When you do, it started with theater because they used to do that in theater. So the back of the stage and the 2 wings were the 3 walls. The fourth wall is the stage. That's my guess. I'm making that up.
Oh,
that's actually fairly true. Where the camera should be on all angles except the one you're looking.
Yeah, you don't acknowledge that fourth wall. You acknowledge everything on the 3 walls. So maybe it had something to do with like the fifth estate, the first estate, the second estate, the third estate, the fourth estate, and like the fourth estate is the media, and the fifth estate is that. Beyond the Media is what they called that program.
Okay, there was a program on CBC called The Fifth Estate. Right. I think it was talking. It's investigating, but the medium was television.
And but they called themselves the Fifth Estate because they were beyond the fourth estate.
Right.
I think, unless the media is the fifth estate.
I don't know.
Is the media the fifth estate?
So most of these conversations we have is like we say something, it's like I don't know, and Jeff looks it up.
I've watched a few of you. You're very famous.
Yes, and then Jeff makes ChatGPT answer a question for him or not Chat. What's the other one called?
I use Grok.
Grok. Okay, Grok.
Yes, no, the media is the fifth estate. The term the fourth estate is the press.
Okay.
So the media, like
what's
the power of the media.
What's the second estate then?
I think probably the first estate is the people. Then it's going to be like the government or something.
Okay.
What are the?
Well, so to get back to the Annie Hall, the budget was $4 million and they made $38 million. So that was, but they were up against Star Wars for Best Picture. and they won over Star Wars, of course, because it's a kid's Star Wars was
Star Wars was pretty big. I went to go see it in the theaters, and I thought you'd think that, I guess maybe it was still too new of a kind of.
It was, and they weren't going to give science fiction the glory of that. I did like a bunch of the guests and stuff like that. Christopher Walken was like,
I know,
cool. Like and Colleen Dewhurst was a mom or whatever. And so like I really liked that part of it.
Did you notice Jeff Goldblum? I did.
Yep. And then there's they talked about at a party that there was a Truman Capote lookalike.
Yeah.
And it was Truman Capote.
Oh, what?
It really was. So I'm thinking that's kind of cool. So they had a bunch of things like that. There's Tessa. I know.
Oh, Tessa, come on up. Come on up. Tessa,
come on. Girl.
Come on up.
Oh,
okay, that's what you want? Is that what you were looking for? Yeah. You want it, don't you? I'll give it to you. Okay. There you go. You go have it.
Cutie. Oh, it's adorable. One of the guys was Mark Leonard, who played Spock's dad on Star Trek. Shelley Duvall was one of the old girlfriends, or something like that. So there was a lot of people. So Woody Allen, there's so many people who want to be in his movies, and
even
think
then,
that it's the best. But even now, so he went through married his adopted daughter and all that, and it was funny because one of the lines in the movie was talking about a politician and how he was one notch under a child molester, and that's what Woody Allen was being charged with. It's like,
he never got charged with child molestation, did he?
No, well, not that. Yeah, he was pretty dragged through. I don't know if it was.
Well, that's right. When she was only 16 or something, and he might have been inappropriate with it.
Yeah. And then one of the other kids, they charged him with something and whatever.
I have a documentary up on MB exactly about that, Under the True Crime.
Yeah,
where it's about Woody Allen and hidden conversations with. Is it Diane Keaton was the one who had charges against him? Who was his other women? Who was his other?
Mia Farrow was his.
Mia Farrow was the one. So they have you hear a lot of the audio conversations recorded between them, and you're trying to figure out if he's guilty based on how much he's giving away and what he's saying. It was pretty good documentary.
Yeah.
So first estate is a clergy. Second estate is nobility, aristocratic class. Third estate represents everyone else, including commoners, peasants. So the fourth estate is the press, and the fifth estate is the media.
Yeah. Huh. I wonder if
when they said the fourth wall, maybe I'll ask what the fourth.
So I wonder if there's a sixth estate saying what social media is now. Because someone should write a book about that, because I think social media is not the press and it's not the people, because it takes on its own craziness when it's on the internet.
You're right. A stage has three walls. The fourth wall is the invisible barrier separates the actor from the viewers.
I know.
They talk about it being in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
It wasn't that movie.
I think Shakespeare did it. Even so, it's been done many times in theater, but it's not often done or done effectively in movies. But so he had a bunch of things like that. He also had a split shot of two different things of the same thing, and this is how they dealt it. This is how they was a Thanksgiving dinner, and it's done differently. So he used a number of devices that I thought were interesting, and I still didn't like it enough to say this is a great movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've seen other Woody Allen movies where I thought it was a lot better. I think Heathers. Is it Heathers? No.
He's done a lot of movies.
Yeah, where's my Woody Allen movies? He wasn't maybe in the one that I was thinking of.
But he's definitely iconic New York, and the idea that he had to go to California, I can just see how that was. No, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to root for if it's a romantic comedy, you want to root for them, and I wasn't rooting for them. And I knew that at the end that they're broken up. So it's kind of like, wow. So it's a big, huge twist on a rom-com. So that in that way, it's like, oh, how clever is this? But yeah, I don't know. But I'm trying to think of anything else that may. Oh, and I didn't know if it was her voice when she was singing, but apparently it was.
Yeah, I think it sounded like her voice and looked like she wasn't lip syncing it. Yeah, I thought she did a good job with the singing.
Yeah,
I liked the movie because it felt like New York. Because when you went to California with him, you felt uncomfortable. You felt out of place.
Yes,
like
I
want to get back to New York.
Yeah, like so you push someone naked out the door, and he's like, "I want me here."
Yeah, he felt so uncomfortable being there.
Yeah, and I think Woody Allen actually might be like that character might be quite a bit like him. Like he was Alvy's singer, and then she was a singer. So like, there's all these kind of like plays with, things. But it's like, okay,
it's a bit of a stretch. His last name's Singer, and she's singer.
I think they said that, or I read it in a review, and it's like, yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that'd be something so obvious.
Yeah.
No, so, I'm hearing an echo.
What was that?
I'm hearing an echo.
I can't hear you.
I'm hearing an echo.
Okay. Well, yeah, mine.
Like
it's a little glitchy here. So you're like what it used to be on Zoom. You freeze for a little bit and whatever.
Very weird. I'm going to take it off the mic and pick another mic.
Then we can hear nothing. See how clever that is.
That's
That's too tinny for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go back to the other one.
Yeah.
So that next time we should have Doug log on from Holland and look at a movie that Doug wanted to watch.
Well, I'm saying to Jennifer, maybe next year we do it where the four of us watch a movie, or even a TV show where every month we watch the first episode.
Yeah.
And then we talk about it. Or we watch, I watch the first episode, you watch the second, you watch the third, Doug watches the fourth, and then I'll say what happened in the first, then says what happens in the second, and then we don't get to watch the other episodes, but we go into the fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth.
Well, the other thing is some of the shows is like, Batman and Robin. Batman fought, and then you insert bad guy here, and then it's exactly the same. Pop zap, and it's all exactly the same.
No, but like say The Sopranos, you have to tell the story good enough so that when the next person tells their story, because they won't have known something that happened in the first one that the first one hopefully would fix up and say, oh, the reason that's his uncle, that's his uncle, that's his uncle, that's not a bad guy, that kind of thing.
But you need none of us have watched.
I don't watch television. I haven't watched television in 30 years.
There's a lot of series out there that nobody's watched, I'm sure. Tons of them.
Not me. Probably not Doug. I don't think we're big TV.
There are probably some good ones. There's some very good ones out there that would probably be good to watch.
Well, it'd be nice to do some, like, what do you call those? Like not mini series exactly, but shorter, compacted. We're not still waiting for season number, whatever.
I like the idea of us teaching each other the other episodes so that we can't watch them. We have to learn. In other words, we have to be good enough at explaining our episode so that when I say the first episode and then Jennifer says what the second is, she sort of picks off from my story because she just learned what I've told her. And then she has to say hers. And then the third episode has to learn what I said and Jennifer said to tell what theirs is. And then the fourth one, I don't know. It's sort of.
I think you're going to, this might be a dumb idea because you're going to say, ChatGPT, what season 3, episode 2, what happens? And then it's going to make up stuff. So I showed the pictures that you made of Martin and the Bat.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, if I ever, put that in a book and I need a, what do you call that?
Illustration.
An illustration, or it's like, okay, we need to have a cover of the book. And it's like, well, the one is like, that's the good cover.
100%.
I have one.
But we had a lot of, I showed it to my writing group and we all howled. So that really did it.
And use that for other things when you have to tell a story, and I can make pictures up quite easily. So
yeah. We'll get around to it.
I tried to make one of my head with the word Rabid Defiance tattooed on the forehead.
Okay. How did that work?
Well, it didn't work well. It just went, okay, I'll do that for you. And then it's my face with the cutout of the word Rapid Defiance sitting right over top of my head, like clip art, just sitting there. And I went, that's not right. It doesn't look like doesn't look like a tattoo on the forehead. He goes, oh, I know what you mean. I'll do that. So it does it. And now it's the same thing, but just a bit opaque. But it's still a big block, bigger than my head, but now opaque.
That looks like a weird hat of some kind.
I love how it thinks that it's done what you've asked it, and it came nowhere close.
I have a friend.
I was trying to get a guy at a computer with a crow sitting on the computer watching them, and I'm trying to describe the guy to get me. So, I'll say, make the guy a little bit older, and it will, add some gray hair and put a goatee on. I go, remove the goatee. And it goes, okay, here's the guy without the goatee. Still got his goatee. And I go, no, you did not remove the goatee. Please remove the goatee. And it would go, okay, here's it without the goatee. Still got the goatee. And then you say, he has facial hair. I want no facial hair, as in maybe looking a little bit younger, but keep the gray hair. And I'm trying to go around it to get there. And he goes, okay, I've done and still the goatee. And I'm going. So the new version of ChatGPT is called Strawberry. You'll hear the word strawberry.
Okay.
And why they call it strawberry is really cool. Not even early on, just a little while ago, when you asked ChatGPT how many R's are in the letter strawberry,
yes,
it would say 2.
Yes, it refused to. Yeah,
even when you said, "I want you to spell out the word strawberry," STRAWBERRY, and it goes, "Well, now please count the R's." And it goes 1, 2, and then it would say, "Now I want you to do each letter and count as you go. And when you say S, say 1, and T, say 1, because there's 1 T. Then when you R, put 1, A 1, W 1, and then when you get to the next R, put 2 beside it, and then keep counting. And it will do it. It'll just go 1, 2, 2, and it will just always forget the R's, and it will always say when you argue with it, it will go, "I see what you mean. Okay." I've got this for you. This makes sense now. They do. Yeah.
I have a friend who's doing a podcast, and he has Pi, an AI, as his co-host. And he does a good job, but it's like that co-host is so flippin' amiable. Well, that's right, Dr. Michael. And it's like, oh, that good job. And it's like, shut up. I would find that way too irritating, but he's just like pleasantly playing along, and he does a good job. He engages the AI in really nice ways. But it was funny. It would drive me crazy. I don't think I could do that. I need someone to argue a little bit.
Well, with Grok, you can tell it to be argumentative if you want. You can they go really far out with not like the cool thing. If you go to ChatGPT and say make a picture of somebody, a girl in a white dress riding a horse, it'll do it. And then you say make her boobs bigger, and it'll go, nope, I won't do that. That's inappropriate. Yeah. You go to Grok and say I want her boobs bigger. Go, how bigger do you want?
That's why you like Grok. That's why you like Grok. Forget the R's in strawberry.
I don't care about
it's the big boobs.
I care about.
So does when this goes up on YouTube, can it get a bad classification if we start swearing and stuff like that?
I think if you mention the word, so I think they take in the first third of the video, they really concentrate on the words said there.
Right.
If you see certain bad things in the first third, that's when you're going to get in the most amount of trouble.
Right.
So if you go into the second half or whatever, but so if you say things like unalive, that person was unalive by themselves, those kind of things, those are the kind. That's why people say unalived, and they say.
There's a few things like that I've noticed. It's like, oh boy, I was thinking that's so politically correct, but they're trying to avoid.
Yeah, the algorithm screwing around with them. Yeah.
So cool. And I don't know what movie's going to follow up. Do we have another Woody Allen? I don't know. My taste is kind of sour for him, so we'll figure out.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, because he was there for 2 seconds.
But I knew him. And it was from his voice. I don't know. I have a thing for voices. I am so freaking good with voices.
Well, I recognize the voice, but it drives me crazy until I remember. And when I remember, it's like, oh, okay, now I can. But occasionally I'll have one that just I can't figure out, and it drives me crazy.
I am. There was a one time trivia, and in the trivia they would use people talking on commercials.
Yeah.
And I'd hear somebody talking. I go, I know that George Costanza, whatever his name is.
Jason Alexander. So
yeah,
that's
doing his. It was a Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial, and I hear a voice, and I heard Goldblum talk, and he's way younger than I've ever seen him in anything.
Yeah.
And so I heard the voice and Goldblum, and I look, and I rewound it, and I went, I don't know if that's him now, because it doesn't. He looks. It's 75. I thought he might have been a bit older than that. And then I'm going, no, he doesn't look too much even older than me now. Like when I look at him, he looks young and vibrant. And
you don't want to look at people for old people at the age that you're at now, because we're suddenly becoming that old person. We're not there. Like we have a parent that's older, but it's still like we're creeping up on older looking now.
Well, when was Jeff Goldblum born? Let's see.
Don't know. I used to get Jeff Goldblum and Tim Curry mixed up, but not anymore. When I first was introduced to them, I had that when the movie showed Colleen Dewhurst and Shelley Duvall. It's like, I know that voice. Where do I know it from? And then, yeah. So watching on MB really helps, because then you can look up someone who's starring in it, and then you get an idea of who they are.
He was born in 52. That makes him 72 now. Holy smokes, he looks good.
Well, that might not be a recent picture.
No, I'm talking about seeing him on things. I got a.
Yeah, but how old was that thing?
A couple of years ago was this thing. I've seen him interviewed lately.
He's also got new things that are out where he's in a new drama series or something.
Yeah, so World According to Jeff Goldblum was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and he just got this thing, and he plays jazz music, and he's almost looks gay, and he's not. He's married, and he's like.
Well, there's a picture of him with his new kid. But it's like, I don't know if that was 10 years ago. And I see clips of him on Graham Norton. It's like, oh, this is great. But it might have been 15 years ago for all we know. So,
yeah. Oh, I just love Jeff Goldblum like a lot. I think he's great.
So maybe we'll watch The Fly.
Yeah, I got The Fly there. Earth Girls Earth Girls Are Easy. That was a good movie. Gina Davis. She's like in a bikini the whole movie. Freaking awesome. Yeah, you pick that movie.
I'm giving you that. I'm not giving it. Nah, you don't get that.
Sounds okay. I'll accept it. We will do Earth Girls Are Easy. I'm glad we finalized that. Perfect. Everybody has agreed.
I thought these were my choices. Earth Girls could be easy next month after this month coming up. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So this is for this month.
You will sign up here, and
Annie Hall was the movie, and our many fans will be glad to know that we kind of agreed on it too.
I heard that Connor in the UK watches sometimes. That was pretty cool.
Well, I asked Mom, and she says, "Oh, I don't know if I've gotten to the end of one yet."
I did watch one where it was like a very long, and you guys were off topic.
Oh yeah,
for almost the entire. You talked like 2 minutes of the movie, and I'm waiting to hear. I'm like, oh, that's not what I remember. See, and then it's like, what are they going to get back to what they're talking about?
No, sometimes no.
I just kept waiting and forwarding, and then, I must have missed it. I went back. No, there's nothing there.
No, so we do a really good job now. We've learned our lessons, and we very much.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, but sometimes the movie isn't that or we haven't found it that interesting to talk about for that long. So then we start talking about other stuff, and we forgot to, hit the stop recording button. So
yeah, and we'd like to thank.
Yeah, we forget. He's got the button. I don't do anything with the button.
We should thank our sponsor, Amazon.
No, Berberine was.
I was going to say Amazon and Berberine.
For the cleanest
colon.
Words I cannot use that will get flagged.
Yes,
colon's probably good.
Colon is very good, but
because it could be a semicolon or a colon.
But it really doesn't come out of your colon; it comes out of your rectum, unless you have a colostomy.
But if I didn't have one because it broke and it got wrecked.
Your colostomy? Oh, your rectum.
Sorry. Rectum? I buried
them.
Yeah,
look, I
didn't even know her.
And then the dam is the Hoover Dam. So I don't want to say it. Yeah,
straight from a religious girl's mouth.
That's right. Hoover Dam.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see you next month.
Say goodbye to Stacy. She'll be watching right till this
Stacy,
point.
we love you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, brother.
Bye.
Where's the mouse? I gotta find.
I said goodbye, but now I have to talk about the mouse that I can't find. He still can't.
I hit stop recording. You didn't stop recording, and then now there's another stop recording button.
The button.
I'll hit the stop recording button. Okay, bye.
Again,